Now let's look at for loops in terms of lists. So give yourself a new header and title it list. Okay, so we need a list to loop through. Let's do this one a little bit differently. Let's do a list, create a list of first 10 numbers. So recall that we can do that with the range function. So what are we going to do? I'm going to call it first 10, code with me. And to start with, there's nothing in it. So I'm going to put down empty list. Okay. Now I'm going to use range to loop through and actually create the list. So for I in range 10, what do I want to do here? Do you know the right keyword here? I want to take each of those elements, so each I want to add it to the list first 10. So the way you add members to a list is dot append. Okay. And then let's see if that gives the output as expected. So let's check first 10 after going through and looping through it. Press Shift Enter, and you can see it does first 10 is what I wanted. It has the first 10 numbers. Okay. Now that we have a list to work with, let's do some fun things with it. So we can do like, show first 10 squares. We'll keep, I say show, maybe we'll create a list to do that. So for instance, I've got a list now for I in, we could print it out. In what? It's not in range here because the point is we have this list and the list is first 10. Okay. Now it's kind of interesting is that you could use range to get it, but I want to keep things in terms of lists, which is a little different. So for I in first 10, what we're going to do is we're going to square the numbers. So we want this I squared in here. But what do we want to do with them? Do we just want to show them, as I said, or do we want to show the list? But let's try this list piece. Okay, so do it the way we did before. First 10 squares. It's empty. And then basically I want to append it. Okay, first 10 squares. Put Shift Enter. Oh, I want to check it. Does it do as expected? And you can see, yes, now I have a list of the first 10 squares. Now, this is a little roundabout. I will show a shortcut up and coming. But it's the whole idea is that you loop through lists, right? And it's very standard because you're going to often want to do things to them. Here's a fun list. I have a challenge for you all. Okay, I'm going to call this list perfectly prime. I do not. This is one of those. Some challenges I expect you can get it with hard work and insight. Others I do not, and this would be one I do not expect. So, but perfectly prime. 3, 5, 11, 17, 31, and 41. Okay. I say these numbers, here's a list of what I call perfectly prime numbers. The challenge would be, number one, what is perfectly prime? Is there a way to figure it out based on what's in that list? And then number two, upon figuring it out, can you actually write code to create that list? Okay. So those are both challenges. Sometimes I like to put those out there because they can give you things to think about. And you may just think about what distinguishes these primes from, say, the other primes. Okay. So I'll leave you all with that one. What is perfectly prime? Again, this is my own thing. I don't know that it's a real term. And how can this list be created? Okay, there's an introduction to for loops using lists.